Hey everyone, welcome to a little solo episode. Real quick bite. We're just gonna do the power rankings. I wanted to do these before the week one games, just because I'm sure everything will blow up, and I wanted to use my off-season projections to do these power rankings, make it easier for me. I don't have to sit and do everything. I just plug everyone's team in, and let the algorithm rank everybody. Um, so we're gonna look at just that. I plugged everyone in, and we're gonna look at what they looked like according to my projections. So first, let's start with this example team, so make it a little easier to read. Um, so first things first, obviously the first column after name is going to be just fantasy points on the season. You divide that by 17 with most players, and that's fantasy points per game. That's the second column. The third column's relative fantasy points per game. So that's like, for example, Patrick Mahomes over the average starting quarterback or top 24 quarterback, he's going to outscore them by 4.1 per game. So same thing with Jalen Hurts. Christian McCaffrey's going to outscore the average RB. Out of the top 24, Christian McCaffrey is outscoring the top 24 by 3.86. And then the relative flex, that only matters for the bottom three, the flex positions. So Saquon Barkley is outscoring the average flex by 5.02. So with flex players, you don't score them as uh, the relative fantasy points per game. You use the flex. So then you see at the totals under the players there. Sorry, this is a little confusing. The first number there, that's going to be your total points. Keep in mind this is before defense. So if it seems a little low, just add like 7 or 8 points, and it'll probably be about what your projection is. Probably more. I probably overdid it. Yahoo's a little more conservative, maybe. Or maybe it'll be worse, in which case, my apologies. But second number there is relative fantasy points per game. So you just add the second and third column, and you'll get your total points above replacement, total PAR, which is my calculations of, uh, you know, how you stack up against the average flex, tight end, wide receiver, running back, quarterback, all added up. And then the last one there, total PAA, is the points above average, which took the average I got from every team using these formulas and stacked it up against it. So this team, this obviously fake team, would be 51.6 points better than the average team in this league. Quick note, the QB3 obviously doesn't factor into the scores. We can only start two, but I just put it in there because I like to see what teams have a second quarterback. Obviously, I just want to know. I feel like I do this at the beginning of every power ranking, but these are all really subjective. We can argue about things if you want. I'll put in the description the actual spreadsheet, which has every player's stats and their target share and catch percentage, and their carries and yards per attempt. And if you really want to sift through it and say, oh, this is stupid, why do you have Miles Sanders 4.6 per carry or something? I don't know. Uh, but it's all there. This is all there's stuff behind this. It's not just whimsical, whimsy, hoity-toity, whatever I want. But what I'm trying to say basically is, I'm just gonna spoil it. I'm gonna be number one because obviously these things I used to rank this, I used to draft. So obviously, like, I use this metric. So but obviously means nothing. It's gonna be wildly inaccurate, as you'll see. So we'll start from bottom, and that is Chris P, who I have at almost negative 10 below the average uh, team in this league. Uh, just the quarterback situation is questionable. I'm not high on his running backs, his slew of running backs. And another thing I want to know is that I optimize these lineups. So even if you don't have someone in your starting lineup that I have ranked higher, I put that person in who I had ranked higher just to give you the highest score. So I don't think he's going to start DJ Chark, especially since I don't know what his status is week one. But I put him in because I think out of everyone on his bench and flex, I had him higher than anybody, which speaks probably a lot to his depth, which probably is not very good. Depth is also something that isn't really factored in here. It's just looking at starting lineup. Uh, and if you have injured players like Cooper Kupp, Travis Kelsey, it's just assuming they're, I want to look at people's ceilings. So with people like Jerry Jeudy, Terry McLaurin, I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt that they're gonna come back strong and play decent, because I want to know who's got the snuff, who's got the best snuff. What is snuff? I don't know. Mike B's number 11. My apologies to Michael, my great friend. Um, what happened here? You know, it really doesn't look that bad. I'm surprised it came out this bad. Oh, I guess the tight end was a big thing. And so that's actually a good discussion thing, real quick. Uh, so it looks at averages, and the top of tight end just throws off the average so much. You know, Kelsey and Andrews and all those guys and Waller, they just throw off the average so much that if you don't have like a top five guy, which is also kind of true anyway, but it just kills you in this thing, in this metric. So Greg Dulcich, I have at all, about 7 points per game average, and that's just, that's tough sledding in a league where some people are gonna start Travis Kelsey. That's Adam, who has like 18 points per game or whatever projected. So that's tough to come back from having a shitty tight end with this metric. In reality, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I discovered something. Corby, number 10. My apologies to my great co-host Corby. When we have our, post week one episode, you can rip into me about it. This team is the tight end is as bad as I thought. I think it's mostly the flexes. And by flexes, I guess it's just Jalen Warren. I don't know. It's a good team. Kind of shades of your team last year, where I feel like there's a lot of decent players. Like you don't have a true wide receiver one, or at least not to me. I know a lot of people love Calvin Ridley. I like Calvin Ridley. I just feel like they're going to be spreading the ball there. Um, but I mean, looking at it, I feel like this is a good team. It's not intuitive, and that's the whole point of me doing these projections. Is that I'm breaking my intuition. So this is number 10. Taylor, number 9. Well done, Taylor. Taylor's got a good team across the board. Nothing. His receivers are strong. I know you only see, Amon-Ra and Tyreek Hill. They come out about like 2 points above average. But with how I feel like receivers are pretty top heavy this year. You really want one of those top guys. Otherwise, you will get in the negatives real quick. His running backs are decent enough. Quarterbacks, again, decent enough. Everyone's decent enough. He's still below the average, but I like this team, Chris Cloud, what is this at? 8? I should have numbered these better. Just a good team. I like his running backs, really. I'm a big Joe Mixon guy this year. Quarterbacks, I think, are the biggest thing holding this team back. This is right. Wasn't Chris waiting a long time to draft these guys? That's silly, Chris. What happened out there? Decent receivers. The flexes are little. I mean, I guess they came out okay. Decent team. Chris Colby. What is it, 7? I'm going to say 7. Look at these quarterbacks. Goff is way too good to be a third stringer. You got to move him for a better piece. You could really get up there. I'm a big Muth guy. This is the only team that I have like statted out that the best lineup was 2 tight ends. So get Muth and Ingram in there. Other than that, receivers not good. Lockett and Evans, I guess, are both decent wide receiver 2s. Wide receiver 3 maybe on Evans' side. I'm not a big Pittman guy, not a big Tony guy. I didn't really like your bench. But, I mean, I like what you had going here. I just don't. I think the execution could have been a little better on some of these guys. Brandy, we're finally in the positives. 0.48 above the positive, above the average in this league. Good team. Got Josh Allen, great. Decent running backs, some solid wide receivers. Tight end, that's big, I think, in these projections. I bet all these people are going to have good tight ends. And I love Elijah Moore. And, Dobbs and Robinson, solid flexes. Adam, what are we at? This must be like 4? He's got the quarterbacks. The only thing, and he's got Kelsey. That's a huge plus. But he's just dragged down by the running backs, which, they add up to about -12 there against the average of the top 24 running backs, which would be, most people's RB1 and 2. And then the flexes, too. So Adam spent big on those quarterbacks and Kelsey and Waddle, and he felt it because he started, guys like Marvin Mims and Zay Jones who could have their games. I kind of like Zay Jones, honestly, but he'll flexes are easy. You pick these guys up along the way, Adam's got a good team. I like it. Tyler, this must be number 3 then. He's got George Kittle. I'm surprised. I would think it was a better tight end, but I guess the rest of it was just good enough. What is going on here? Oh, the quarterbacks are really good. That's solid. He's got Justin Jefferson and Bijan. These guys are buoying his mid flexes and mid tight end. Yeah, I'm not a big George Kittle guy. My apologies. Eric, number 2. I believe we're at number 2. Solid team right here. Look at this guy, huh? I've always been big on Eric's fantasy teams. It's just besides Kyle Pitts, I really like this team. Great flexes. I love Keenan Allen as a wide receiver too. Chase obviously. Pearson Jacobs. Jacobs is Eric's guy. He took him real far. Only didn't really take him far last year because he didn't make it to the playoffs, but he didn't let him down. Quarterbacks. I mean Deshaun Watson. I have him as like a middling quarterback. Fringe quarterback 1 here, but I might be a little optimistic on him. I don't really believe in that much. And same goes with Derek Carr. Obviously, I don't know if he'll take you to the mountaintop, but I like the framework. I like the frame here. You can really work a lot. Oh, Fitzy. I had some of these wrong then. Fitzy. Sitting there, I was like, Fitzy, you got to do something. This team sucks. Like he's gotta like get going. Well, my metric was into it. My algorithm really liked Fitzy's team. Herbert and Prescott, good. Obviously, I love Herbert this year, so the metric was very kind to him. The algorithm loves him. Christian McCaffrey, my number 1 running back, great, awesome. Love Dotson. Not as a wide receiver 1 though. And Deontay, just great, great all around. I like all these guys. I can't complain. Tyler Higbee, a good, especially with Cup out for a while, a good great option. Colin is obviously going to be number 1. I mean, I drafted using this metric, so it's unfortunately ridiculously unproportionate to like how I scored. And it's a huge part of that is just Cooper Cup, the optimism that he's gonna come back and come back strong, which is, as I said, optimism. But even without that, I think I have a good team. Again, you're gonna, it's silly some of these things looking at it, but this is just what I believe. I think Cam Akers and Miles Sanders, not much competition. They're Cam Akers finished strong last year, so I think he'll be a middle of the road starting running back. Same with Miles Sanders. Sam Howell is a little egregious maybe because he's right sitting on that QB1, QB2 line, but I mean he's one of my guys this year. I own him in every 2 QB league I'm in. Uh, I'm just high on my team. That's it. Um, you can leave comments telling me how much you don't like your ranking, about how stupid it is. Again, look at this. If you really want to crack open the egg. Look at the spreadsheet. You can see for yourself what the ingredients were in here. Maybe it's you open it up and it's a rotten egg. Maybe I got something wrong. But go ahead, check it out. It's real in depth. If you don't like it, then leave a comment. If you like it, leave a comment. Make sure to like and subscribe. And we'll see you guys after week 1.
Bon voyage.